Welcome to the Osmo Early Bird Podcast. It's your old pal EMAC coming to you with one Adam a ship, my money share, as we get ready for a Tuesday MLB slate, final Tuesday of the regular season. We have two early games going off at 6:40. We have 13 games going off at 7:05, and I want to say, oh yes, I believe there is a double header, Adam. We've got it all. What's going on? I feel like I'm out of touch after having been away for the weekend.
Yeah, I'll say I feel like we haven't talked in a while. I don't know why. Oh, because you didn't do Friday. So yeah, it's been a while. My weekend was good. I went golfing with a friend. His father-in-law had a golf tournament out in Pennsylvania, so went and did that. Got away from DFS for a while, which was nice. How was Iowa?
Well, there's no DFS in Iowa, as I learned. We were out there in the Quad Cities. My wife's running club had its annual meetup there. She got an award for completing her 100th half marathon this year of her career. So this is it's called the 50 half marathons in 50 states club, or they call themselves the 50 staters. There were people that were getting awards for 100 half marathons, 200, 300, and then somebody had done 500, Adam. 500. I can't even imagine that.
I don't even want to imagine.
There were people that had completed the 7-continent challenge. There were people that had done the 50 states plus the District of Columbia, which is 2 different designations. And then also there was one person that had done the 50 states 3 times. 3 times. That's a lot of travel budget.
That is. That's also a lot of running. Like, why would you ever?
Some people are crazy. We have DFS. They have half marathons. But I did the half marathon there in Iowa along the Mississippi, and then looked over longingly at Illinois across the river, which is where I could play DFS. But it was my wife's weekend, so I didn't want to do that. Fortunately, I'd entered some NFL contests and had a bunch of Thursday through Monday games, so I still got to play a little bit, but did not get in as much. But I'm back full force, enjoying the last of MLB. Let's see, what do we got that's important? Oh, we've got presenting sponsor Yahoo. If you've not yet signed up for Yahoo, go to the third paragraph of any Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article. Those are free. Those are on the Osmo homepage if they've fallen off the homepage, because we're putting out so much content for you guys. In the upper left, there's a little button that says MLB. Click on that. Click on the articles, and you will see all of the Spotlight Hitters articles. It'll tell you how to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points with your initial DFS deposit. They do have the $400,000 baller that is this week. Down a little bit. They didn't fill the $500,000 baller. It's $10 entry fee, $150 max. They still do not have the CSV uploads and just 10% management fee. So it's not management fee free. They do have some management fee free NFL contests. They're trying different things out, but they do have a few out there that you can get into. They also have the Yahoo Cup free roll, which is pretty cool. $150,000 in prizes. They run one free entry each of the 17 weeks. Your cumulative score places you, and then there's $150,000 in prize. They give out, I think it's $5,000 a week, and then the remainder goes out for the season long. They drop some of your lowest scores. I've done it for baseball, Adam, and I know for the 25 weeks they do baseball, they drop your 7 lowest scores. So I suspect I haven't read the NFL rules, but I'm guessing they're probably going to drop your 3 or 4 lowest scores, but you can get in. I am actually going to win $3 or $4, I think, for the season long, Adam. I'm placing in the top 1,000. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Nice job.
And those lineups have done well. I've won 4 different times in the single week contest where I've cashed for a couple bucks. So nothing wrong with that, but just throwing that out there. So let's get in onto the slate. We've got a 1:00 game. I believe, if I remember correctly, that is the doubleheader between the Nationals and Phillies. Phillies, I think, are pretty much all but eliminated, if in fact they were not yet eliminated. You've got the Nationals. I'm just looking here. The Nationals, yep, they've got 2 games. So they are playing to clinch the wild card. They're in the driver's seat for the first wild card spot. They do have a little bit of a fallback position there for the second wild card spot, but they still need to win out. I think their magic number is 4 or 5. So keep an eye on that. We're also not going to worry about the 2 640 games. That's Adrian Hauser and Sonny Gray. Sorry, Adam. Going against and then Jake Odorizzi going against Spencer Turnbull. Now we'll have content, we'll have projections for that but we're not going to cover that in this podcast. We're going to focus on the 13 games on the main slate. Now that I've got all of the qualifiers there, Adam, you do have a guy you kind of like, Mitch Keller, 7,100. He's kind of a combination of Adrian Hauser's lower prices and Sonny Gray's potential ability. Start us off there with Mitch Keller, 7,100.
Yeah, pretty nice price tag on Keller. Tough matchup against the Cubs. Not sure how necessary he'll be on the slate since we do have 13 games. And there is pitching basically at every price point, but it is a nice salary for him. The run prevention numbers obviously haven't been good, as evidenced by a 7.74 ERA, but his peripherals are much better than that. His Sierra since coming to the major leagues is 3.77, which is good, and 4 runs lower than his ERA. He's struck out 28.6% of hitters. He's got a really good fastball, good curveball. Like I said, tough matchup against the Cubs, but I think that he is appropriately priced. He's someone you can look to in tournaments if the savings, get you some more upside hitter-wise, because when you look at the pitchers around him, someone like Mike Leake doesn't have anywhere near as much strikeout upside. Neither does Anthony Kay. Really, none of the pitchers below him until maybe – like Jeff Hoffman is probably the pitcher below him that I'd be most interested in. So kind of a dead range there. Keller and Bundy, probably the two in that range that I'm most interested in.
All right. Continuing along here. Any thoughts on Kyle Hendricks here? Sorry, going against Pittsburgh. Good real life pitcher. Doesn't always have the strikeout rate that we want, but he is 8,800.
Just not a good DFS pitcher. Not a good strikeout matchup against the Pirates. 3.6 implied run total obviously makes it seem appealing, but you don't really get points for preventing runs. You get points for strikeouts and going deep in the games, and it's really tough to imagine he strikes out enough guys here that you need him at his salary.
All right, let's continue along here. I'm also going to get up the list of who's clinched or who has not. You've got the Phillies at Nationals. This will be game 2. We should have the lineup because game 1, again, is at 1 o'clock. Slated to start the game 2. We don't know yet for the Phillies, but it does look like Max Scherzer for Washington. I'll see if I can confirm that. How are you feeling about Scherzer? 11,000 even. Not quite a must-win situation, but pretty close to it.
Yeah, pretty expensive. Or 11K for Scherzer is fine. I still kind of doubt that he's going to go, 120 pitches, but we did see 109 last time out, 6 2/3 innings. Strikeouts were there. I think it is a pretty nice salary for Scherzer. At the top end on the slate, you have to compare him to Gerrit Cole, but you're getting a $2,000 discount off him. You're getting $800 discount off Clevenger. So I think that is really, really appealing.
All right, a couple different sites do not have an early pitcher listed for Philly, but MLB probable pitchers does have Aaron Nola for the second game, and they do call out a little blurb in their notes that say he will start the second game. So that is a good one. They couldn't find anything exciting to write about him, Adam. This is one of the first times, but with no fanfare, they have said he has allowed 11 earned runs in 15 1/3 innings against the Nationals this season.
All right, that's about as harsh as they get, I guess.
Apparently it is. In any event, Nola against the lineup, that's definitely going to be loaded for Bear. As the MLB page pointed out, he does have a 6.5 ERA, 1.6 WHIP in the meetings thus far this season. Still has just shy of a strikeout per inning. We know his stuff is pretty good. He got out of that late or early season swoon, has come up with some phenomenal numbers, crossed over the 200 strikeout barrier, and in his last 10 games, he is averaging 6.1 innings with a 3.8 ERA and a 1.15 WHIP. Strikeouts 1.1 per inning. Thoughts on Nola here as a differentiation play?
Really tough matchup. The salary is affordable, but I think that I would just so much rather roster Jack Flaherty at that price point or Noah Syndergaard, as hard as that is for some people to believe, at the same price point. So I don't see myself getting to Nola.
All right, let's continue along here. We've got Baltimore and Toronto. Feels like they play each other constantly. Adam, Toronto did have some amazing numbers there at Camden Yards. We do have Bundy going against Anthony Kay. Bundy would be someone I am interested in talk to me about Bundy and then potentially Anthony Kay.
Yeah, I think Bundy is one of the better mid-range options here. It's a really, really, really dangerous matchup against the Blue Jays. This is a team that, well, they won't have Bo Bichette. They may not have Gurriel, who scratched on Monday night. But it's a team that just has tons and tons of power on their roster. Even if you were to exclude Gurriel and Bichette, there would still be 9 hitters on the Toronto roster that have an ISO of at least 180 against right-handed pitching this season. And this game's in Toronto, which, according to ESPN's Park Factors, has been the best home run park in baseball this year. So really, really dangerous spot for a pitcher in Bundy that gives up home runs. That being said, he is inexpensive. There's not a lot of pitching in that salary range other than him and Mitch Keller that give you any sort of upside. He comes into the game with a strikeout percentage of 23.2% for the season. Against righties, it's up around 28%. Lefties, it's down around 18%. So a big part of his projection will come down to what the lineup actually looks like that Toronto runs out.
All right. And that, yes, while I make fun of him and like to point out he leads the league in home runs over the last 2 seasons, he does have strikeouts. Reasonable price point, as Adam mentioned. And again, lots going to come down to that lineup. The one thing about Bo Bichette, he is dealing with a concussion. He has not played in nearly a week now. He is, I think, only partway through the concussion protocol. So it would not shock me if he's just done for the season. But we shall see soon enough. Continuing along here, we have the New York Yankees going against the Tampa Bay Rays. You have, it looks like, Masahiro Tanaka going against Yanni Chirinos is what I'm seeing at a couple different spots. So we will go with that. Chirinos will be facing the Yankees for the 6th time this season, Adam. 4 ERA, 1.2 whip in his previous 27 innings against them, 23 strikeouts there, 5 home runs allowed. You feeling either of these pitchers?
No, not really. Tough matchup for Chirinos going against the Yankees. Tanaka just doesn't have the same strikeout stuff that Keller or Bundy have. It is a good park for him, but it's still not a great matchup against Tampa. If I were to go to one pitcher from this game, it would be Tanaka, but I don't expect either one to be a priority.
All right. I'm going to let's look at the playoff standings here. The Dodgers have clinched outright. They are behind the Yankees and the Astros by 2 games each for home field advantage in the World Series. St. Louis has clinched at a minimum the wild card. They have a 3-game lead over the Brewers for the NL Central. So it looks like they will probably get the NL Central, and then the Brewers are in the mix for that second wild card spot. Atlanta clearly has clinched the East. They, however, are 4 games back from the Dodgers, so it'd be a tough stretch for them to get home field advantage. Nationals in the mix for that lead wild card spot. The Astros and Yankees both have 102 wins. Astros one less game, so they're the Yankees are 1 back in the loss column. So those guys are duking it out potentially for home field advantage. And then in the AL wild card, let me flip over to that. It's Oakland, 2 games up on Tampa and Cleveland, who are tied with each other. Boston not yet mathematically eliminated, but they're 10.5 back. Clarifying the NL, it's the Nationals. Oh goodness, the Nationals are actually they've slipped a little. They're half a game ahead basically of the Brewers, but they'll be even after that doubleheader. Half a game less played. They'll be even after the doubleheader tomorrow, and then the Cubbies are 4 back. Mets 4.5 back. Philadelphia not completely eliminated, but they're 6 back. So we'll get more clarification. I just wanted to call these out because the problem now is we're seeing a lot of other teams. They'll have the ability to pinch hit, not care, do whatever they want. So we're going to see some sketchy lineups from more and more teams as they're eliminated. Moving on to our next game here, Adam, we've got Noah Syndergaard going against Miami. This will be the 3rd time he has faced Miami this season, been pretty solid against them. On the other side, you have Sandy Alcantara. He has been pretty solid himself this season, a 4 ERA. 140 strikeouts in 184 innings. That's a little bit light. This will be the 5th time he is going against the Mets. He has a 3.5 ERA at 1.2 whip against them thus far. Do you like either of these hurlers?
Yeah, I don't really know what's not to like about Syndergaard other than all the things that I always point out. But his salary is just way too cheap. He's $9,000 on DraftKings. He's going to get close to an entirely right-handed lineup, you would assume. Maybe you get Isan Diaz in the lineup or Neil Walker or something like that. But against right-handed hitters this year, 27.4% strikeout percentage for Syndergaard. He's, good overall at pitching, and the only real issue is that he doesn't always translate into as good a DFS pitcher because he's kind of slightly above average when it comes to strikeouts as opposed to being up in that elite tier where people kind of seem to think that he is. But that doesn't matter when you're coming in at $9,000 against the Marlins. I expect Syndergaard to be one of the most popular pitchers on this slate. I expect he'll be one of my highest owned pitchers. I don't really see any reason why he wouldn't be.
All right. And then on the other side there, Alcantara, 8,100. It's that's not the easiest of matchups going against the Mets there still. When have we been able to say that outside of this season? Not very often, but I still think he's okay. We'll have to see where things shake out. Right now, he's just kind of another guy, doesn't really have that strikeout upside. Run prevention could be there, but I think I'd rather scrape together those $900 to get to Syndergaard.
Yeah, Alcantara, I think, is just priced completely out of where he should be.
Moving along, Boston at Texas. It looks like Texas is going to be using the vaunted combination of Edson Volquez and Ariel Jurado. So we're going they're opening with a slow pitcher followed by a soft contact pitcher, Adam. That is unique going against Boston. Boston's running out Eduardo Rodriguez. Again, they're not quite mathematically eliminated, but pretty damn close. May actually be mathematically eliminated or hanging on by a thread. But that means we might see a different lineup there for Boston. Andrew Benintendi been dinged up a little bit. Mookie Betts as well. Assuming they run out a full go lineup, Adam, this is going to be one of the offenses we want to pay for. Do you see any redeeming qualities for Edson Volquez or Jurado as any concerns about loading up on the Boston hitters?
I do not.
All right. Eduardo Rodriguez, lefty going against Texas, 10,400. Potentially could get a quicker hit, quicker hook. He has gone 107, 105, 117, 113, 104, 93, 106, 113, 101. Point being is he is priced to go for 100-plus pitches. We don't know what's going to happen as these guys, as he's hitting a career high in innings pitched. What do you want to do with him at his apex price point of 10,400?
I don't want to roster him at that salary. It's a perfectly fine matchup against the Rangers, but it is a tough park to pitch in, and you're just paying $1,400 more for Rodriguez than for Syndergaard for really no reason at all. You're paying more money for him than Flaherty too, which also doesn't make any sense.
All right, and we'll circle back to FanDuel and Yahoo because their prices are a little bit different for some of those guys, but may have some more comments there when we get to them. Continuing trucking along here, what do we got? Half a dozen games to go. Danny Duffy going against Atlanta. Julio Teheran getting the matchup against Kansas City. This will be the second time Teheran has faced Kansas City. First time was back at the beginning of the season many moons ago. Teheran, been a riddle, wrapped in a mystery inside of an enigma, to butcher the Winston Churchill quote. What do you want to do with the $7,500 Teheran against Kansas City in Kauffman Stadium? So Kansas City will have the designated hitter.
He's a decent option because his salary has come down. He's been a bit better lately. He's been throwing his sinker more, which for him actually makes him better. It's an okay matchup against Kansas City, who doesn't have a ton of good hitters in their lineup, especially if we're not going to have Mondesi in there. But also, I just think there's just better strikeout stuff with Bundy and with Keller. Obviously they come with significant risks, but it's not like Teheran doesn't. So it's just tough for me to put him ahead of either of those two.
All right. How about Danny Duffy, 7,900? Now, of course, we will have the Braves with a designated hitter. Odds are it's going to be Billy Hamilton. Hey, revenge from this year even. But he basically hits like a pitcher, but can run really fast. How are you feeling about Duffy, who's been putting up some adequate strikeout numbers in his last few outings?
Yeah, he's actually been pretty decent, but tough matchup against Atlanta. Tons of right-handed power with Acuna, Albies, Donaldson, Riley, possibly Flowers in the lineup, Swanson. Just a really difficult matchup, and he's not cheap.
All right, that will be one to feather in. You'll have to see how that plays out. That DraftKings does have a 3-game 8 o'clock slate, so those guys are going to be in play there, perhaps not on the main slate. Here we are, 9:40 game. We got 5 to go here. It's going to be in the mid-80s in Arizona. However, they have already said that their roof is going to be closed this series for each of the games. That, of course, could always change, but they usually call that out prior to a few days rolling into each series, and that's what they have here for this remaining 3 games they have at home. You've got, let me see here, Jack Flaherty, 9,800. You got Mike Leake, 7,200. Leake been just horrible, allowing home runs all over the place, Adam. Mostly, or the handedness that has the advantage over the last 2 seasons has been the righties. The Cardinals have a lot of them. I don't care if the roof is open or closed. I'm not playing Mike Leake, but I know Flaherty's one of the guys you really do like. Looks like Ketel Marte not going to be in the picture here. A very watered down lineup now for Arizona as they are just running out the string. What do you want to do with Flaherty, and how much is too much, Jack Flaherty?
Yeah, I think that the salary is really, really appealing on Flaherty at 9,800. It's not a great strikeout matchup against the Diamondbacks. Even with their watered-down lineup, you're not getting tons of strikeouts, although it is better than it was when Marte was in there. But it's also not a good lineup. Not many good hitters in here. And Flaherty's just got really, really good strikeout stuff, especially since he has increased his slider usage to both sides of the plate, particularly lefties. Over that time, he struck out about 26% of lefties compared to about a 20% strikeout percentage against lefties from the start of the season until he started throwing his slider more to them. Overall, since he started increasing his slider usage, he's up over 32%. So I just think that he's essentially an ace to me at this point, at least for DFS purposes. And he's not priced like one.
All right, moving along. Colorado at San Francisco. We do have an $8,200 Madison Bumgarner here. This will be the 5th time he's gone against Colorado. He is much better at home, like most of his counterparts. At home this season, 115 innings, a 2.8 ERA, 85 innings on the road, a 5.3 ERA. Significant difference. 30 less innings pitched, 3 more home runs allowed. So Bumgarner definitely going to be in the picture today. Jeff Hoffman, just setting you up here, he is 4,800. We are hoping for 85 to 90 pitches. However, even with those 85 to 90 pitches, he may only get single-digit fantasy performance here for us, Adam. Talk to me about our duo out here in the best pitching environment on the slate.
I like both of them. I think the salary on Bumgarner is very reasonable. 8,200 on DraftKings, facing a Rockies offense that's getting as negative of a park shift as you could possibly get. They've been awful outside of cores all season long, as we would expect. Bumgarner, again, as we would expect, much better at home than he is on the road. Strikeouts go up. Run prevention is better. Across the board, just a better pitcher at home. So I like the salary on Bumgarner. I prefer Syndergaard at 9K compared to Bumgarner at 8,200, but I think you can make really good lineups just by pairing the two of them together. And then on the other side, if you do need a cheap pitcher, I think Hoffman in San Francisco makes a lot of sense. He's got pretty good stuff. Former first-round pick, would have been number 1 overall had it not been for injuries. He's not been good in his major league career, but a large part of that can be attributed to being on the Rockies and pitching his home games in cores. I think that pretty much all the risk is taken away at $4,800.
All right, let's finish her off here. 3 to go. We are in the 10 o'clock slate. If you have not yet signed up for Osmo, use the promo code EARLYBIRD, all one word, to get 50% off any 1-month package. We have all sorts of packages out there, including Osmo Express. That is a $3.95, I think. So let's just call that $4 a week there. It is not quite the full meal deal, but if you get that for football, you can get various projections, grades, etc. If you're just building 5-10 lineups a week, not a bad way to go. Get in, check out some of the content that we have, and then if you like what you see, you can branch out to one of the larger packages. Just a reminder that 50% off is not eligible on those express packages, but hey, it's about 50 cents a day. Jump on in, see what you like. Go to osmo.com/join. And you can see a variety of packages that we have. It asks you to it helps you show the different things we get. There's some videos there from Alex himself. And then there's also a little questionnaire that as you click and answer your level of play, et cetera, it can help tailor a particular package level for you. Oakland at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. No Mike Trout, no Shohei Ohtani. You've got Homer Bailey homer strikeout Bailey, Adam. He had 11 in his last one against Kansas City. Who says revenge isn't true? But it's a tough one here. His price has gone up almost 50% since 2 starts ago. On the other side, you have Dylan Peters. Dylan Peters has allowed 14 home runs in 63 innings. So basically, he would be on pace for about 50 home runs allowed this season if he pitched 200 innings. That is a lot. Muy malo, I believe is what they would say in Mexico. Adam, talk to me about these pitchers.
Bailey would be interesting if he were cheaper, but he's just at an awkward price point where he's $8,400 on DraftKings, which is a little bit more than Bumgarner, almost as much as Syndergaard, and it's just really difficult to get to him over either of those guys, even against the watered-down Angels lineup. On the other side, no interest in Peters. I'd rather take a chance on Jeff Hoffman in that price range. Just a really tough lineup. Not a lot of strikeouts for Oakland, a lot of right-handed power. He's, I always say that when someone's basically 4K, there's not much risk, and that's still true, but it's just really hard to see a path to success for Peters.
All right. Some question marks here in our next game. It's the Dodgers. It's San Diego. Dodgers have been playing a lot of their relievers. They have Rich Hill, who is, or let me rephrase that. They've earmarked many of their starters that are now healthy to reliever-type roles, getting them ready for the playoffs. You've got Rich Hill, who is back. He looks like he's going to go 2 innings. DraftKings not making this interesting at all. He's 9,200, so no reason to worry about him. Ross Stripling is going to be the secondary pitcher coming in. He's going to go for 2 or 3 innings. However, he's going to be capped at about 40 pitches. Not exciting there at 6,600. On the other side for San Diego, you do have Ronald Boyanos. I'm sure I'm butchering your name, Ronald. I apologize. He is 6,700. He will probably go 70-ish pitches. He had a bit of a bullpen outing in this last one. I don't know what they're going to do in San Diego. I don't like any of these pitchers, but it does make for some interesting hitters for the Dodgers side going against Boyanos.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to add on the pitching. There's nothing of interest to me.
All right. Last game of the night. We've got some pitching to talk about here. It is not Justin Dunn who will be going 2 or 3 innings here for the Mariners, or however long 35 to 40 pitches can get him, probably 2 or 3 innings. And then you've got Tommy Malone, who will be coming in. He'll be good for anywhere between 50 and 75 pitches. He's still fully stretched out, but they've been using him as the probable long reliever, the bulk guy, if you will. Not really interested in a lefty going against Houston. However, the piece de resistance, the cherry on top, Adam, Gerrit Cole coming in, going against the Mariners. I mentioned the playoff standings. Houston still does need to win to stay ahead of the Yankees. Home field advantage is going to be rather important as they make another run there towards the World Series. Cole is at 13,000. Let's assume 100 pitches for him, Adam. So that would be pretty much his typical full workload against the Mariners. This will be the 4th time he is going against them. He is averaging, I'm saying that one more time for those of you listening, he is averaging 39 DraftKings points per outings in his first 3. He does have the win in all of them. He has absolutely dominated the Mariners this season, Adam. The Mariners are even more watered down than the last time he faced them 3 starts ago. What do you want to do here with Gerrit Cole?
I think DraftKings did a really good job on their pricing here. Cole's at $13,000, which I don't even think is too expensive for him. He's the best strikeout starter in baseball. 39.1% strikeout percentage is it's 4.5 points higher than the second highest on this slate, which features Max Scherzer and Mike Clevenger. So that just kind of goes to show how great Cole has been at getting strikeouts this year. 33.2% K-minus BB percentage is insane. But you're still paying, $1,200 more for him than for Clevenger against the White Sox. You're paying $2,000 more for him than Scherzer. And the Nats and the Indians are both in playoff races too. So it's not like either of those guys are going to get pulled just for the hell of it. So I think that from an optimal lineup standpoint, it's really tough to get the Cole. The one thing that will interest me is if he's going to go under-owned because of that, then he becomes a really appealing tournament option because, he's just so good. He can still clearly be the top scorer by a wide margin.
In his last 10 starts, he is averaging 1.5 strikeouts per inning. That is insane. Against the Mariners in his 3 starts, he is averaging 1.7 strikeouts per inning. In that last outing against the Mariners, he went 96 pitches, allowed a lonely solo home run on his way to 15 strikeouts. Wow. Just phenomenal, Adam. Just phenomenal. We're going to want to see how we can get him into our lineups. That wraps up the little DraftKings pricing portion of the show. Let's circle on over here to FanDuel, and then we will wrap up with presenting sponsor Yahoo. We have FanDuel having some fun here with their starters. Clevenger is not starting, is he?
Clevenger, yeah.
Did I miss
We skipped that game.
I missed that game. Adam, how did you let me miss? Clevenger's one of your faves. Let's oh, I see what I did. I flipped it. I got excited and went ahead there to Atlanta. Clevenger versus Hector Santiago. Take as many righties and switch hitters as you can for Cleveland going against Hector Santiago. Okay, we're good with that. Now, Mike Clevenger, $11,800, $1,200 discount there from Gerrit Cole. However, not quite as good as a pitcher as Gerrit Cole. He had dealt with that midseason injury, but he's still on his way to 160 strikeouts, which is pretty impressive in and of itself, considering he's made just 19 starts this season. What do you want to do with Mr. Clevenger?
Again, really, really interesting because this season he's comparable to Scherzer. Obviously, you have the longer track record with Scherzer, a bit better matchup for Clevenger against the White Sox. I think a lot will just come down to ownership for me. I don't think that there's a huge difference in ceiling between the two. Clevenger is a little more expensive, so I think Scherzer is the better, I guess, not the best word, but the better play of the two, but kind of splitting hairs for me.
All right. Yeah, his numbers have just been phenomenal as well. He has done nicely. This will be the 3rd time he's gone against the White Sox. He's got 21 strikeouts in 14 innings against them. He has 155 strikeouts in 113 on the season. Just absolutely phenomenal. This is going to be a fun one. The other thing is these guys will pitch again this weekend if their teams need them. So that's nice to have a little bit of an ace day today, and it looks like there might be a little bit of one tomorrow as well. FanDuel, Gerrit Cole 12-3, Clevenger 11-6, Flaherty 11, Scherzer 10-6. They've made it interesting for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's Scherzer there outside of ownership considerations.
All right. After Scherzer, would you go 600 more for Clevenger over Flaherty or 1,300 more for Cole over Flaherty?
Really, I think at their respective price points, they're pretty comparable. So it would really just come down to what I can afford. Like Cole's going to project the highest, then Clevenger, then Flaherty.
All right. How about for tournaments, get in as many bats as you can. Start looking at someone like Noah Syndergaard, keeping in mind that quality start is important there on FanDuel. He is 8,200. Is that interesting?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough between Syndergaard and Scherzer to figure out which one's the best option.
All right. And then last one, Mitch Keller, 6,100. He is facing the Cubs.
I mean, it's a really cheap price tag. There's just so much opportunity cost on this slate. And, you know, there's no Coors game. So and there are so many value bats now that I doubt you're going to need those savings.
All right, starting from the bottom on Yahoo, Mitch Keller at 26, leader in the clubhouse. Would you go with Keller or Hoffman at 30?
Keller.
All right. Would you consider Danny Duffy at 32 over Keller at 26?
I'd rather have Keller, and I'd rather have Hoffman.
Bundy at 33 over Keller or Hoffman?
Keller was 26.
Yep.
I think it's close. You probably don't need the savings, in which case – actually, I don't know. I think I'd still just go Keller. They're both risky as hell.
All right. Now we've got kind of our mid-chunk here of Nola at 47, Eduardo Rodriguez at 45, much better than the DK price. Syndergaard at 44 and Bumgarner at 43. I think all of those guys are in play. How would you rank the 4 of them against each other?
It was Syndergaard, Bumgarner,
Nola, and Rodriguez.
Syndergaard, Bumgarner, and I couldn't care less about the other 2.
All right. Jack Flaherty at 52, Clevenger at 54, Scherzer at 57, or Gerrit Cole at 64. I think 65 is the highest we've seen a pitcher this year.
Yeah, it's just so tough outside of ownership to pay the highest price tag for Cole when you have so much opportunity cost at the top on this slate. Um, it's not that he's a bad player. I wouldn't love to have him in lineups. It's just that I think you probably get just as high of a ceiling by going to the cheaper guys. So I would say it's between Scherzer and Clevenger. I think they're priced pretty much in the order that they should be.
Okay. If you go Cole Keller, you still have $13 per hitter. Definitely doable, but as Adam mentioned, the opportunity cost here is pretty high. Yahoo's done kind of a fun job here. You've got Judge, Betts, Meadows, Yordan Alvarez. They're all 24, 26, 27. Marcus Semien, well, he's earned the price tag of 27. I don't really want to pay that. But Francisco Lindor is at 21. Let's see, Bregman's 26. Rendon 20. That's against Nola. Let's see what else we got. Cavan Biggio 23. Altuve 21. Rizzo 21. Olsen 21. They've done this a pretty good job here of pricing their players. So this will be kind of fun. You can get the bats you want, but you're not going to be able to get Cole or anybody over $45, $46. So that's going to make it very, very interesting. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to get on out of here. You can follow Adam at ShipMyMoneyDFS. I am at EMACDFS on Twitter. And, of course, it is Osimo_COM. With that, gamers, good luck. All right, we're good.
Cool. I'm going to get ready and go watch the game.
Have fun.
See you.